Attention passionate Seattle, SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the Seahawks lately, you know that things have been a bit tumultuous, a bit uncertain. And that's putting it mildly. Because what is really happening behind the scenes? Well, it's not just about one game or one player. It's about the entire franchise's strategic direction, especially when it comes to some of their key players, like Tariq Woolen. And this situation has been brewing for a while now, but recent reports and insider whispers are making headlines, and it's impossible to ignore the implications. First, let's rewind a bit and talk about Woolen. Drafted in 2022, in what many consider a steal, a third-day pick that has already etched his name in Seahawks history, Woolen came in with a lot of expectations. The guy was an immediate impact player, earning acclaim for his ball-hawking skills, his speed, his versatility. His rookie season was nothing short of spectacular. They say he would go down as one of the best third-day picks in franchise history, and honestly, Seahawks fans loved him. He was a bright spot in the secondary, a player who seemed poised to anchor Seattle's defense for years to come. But fast forward to today, and things are looking a little different. Recently, NFL insider Ian Rappaport started tweeting about Woolen, and that's where things got interesting. Now, when Rappaport tweets about a player's availability, it's not just idle chatter. It's a message. And that message, according to him, teams are monitoring Woolen, and he added that his playing time has diminished. Now, that's a pretty stark statement, especially considering that Woolen played in 92.5% of the snaps in Week 3's blowout game. That's nearly every snap, folks. So, what does Rappaport's tweet really mean? Well, it's a subtle hint that there's more beneath the surface. Yes, Woolen's playing time was impacted by the absence of Devin Witherspoon for 2 games and Nick Imanwari for 3. Those injuries created opportunities for Woolen to shine. But the fact that the NFL insider is mentioning his diminished playing time, especially after such a dominant game, suggests that there's a different story being told behind closed doors. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. The tweet hints that teams are calling the Seahawks, expressing interest or at least monitoring Woolen's situation. But the real question is, who's making those calls? Who's the one pushing for a trade? Well, the buzz around the league is that Seattle's front office, led by John Schneider, might be open to listening. It's no secret that Woolen's season has been his worst so far. His numbers tell a story: 61% completions on throws his way, which is the worst of his career, and a staggering 13.8 yards per completion, also the worst. His yards per target and passer rating are at historic lows, and his missed tackle rate has crept up. Not to mention, he's been flagged 6 times in just 4 games, which is concerning. These aren't just small issues, they're big red flags that can't be ignored. Now some might argue, well, he's still a young player, he's got time to bounce back. True, but the NFL is a business, and when your performance dips this significantly, especially for a player who is on a relatively expensive rookie deal, the team has to consider all options. And let's be honest, Woolen is making about $5.3 million this season due to performance bonuses, which is a significant investment. Trading him could be a strategic move, saving money, clearing cap space, and perhaps even getting a decent draft pick in return. In fact, if they decide to move him now, the return might not be spectacular, maybe a conditional 4th-round pick, possibly a 3rd if the circumstances are right. Contrast that with the potential to keep Woolen and hope for a turnaround, or even work out a new contract down the line. It's a fascinating dilemma for the Seahawks. Because on the one hand, Woolen's talent is undeniable. On the other, his recent struggles and the current team dynamics cast doubt on whether he's part of the long-term plan. And that's where the rumors start swirling. You see, the league is not just about what players do on Sundays, it's also about what teams do behind the scenes. Are the Seahawks truly exploring trades, or is this just off-season chatter? Well, considering the NFL's history and the way insiders like Rappaport and Schefter operate, there's usually some truth behind these reports. And it's not just Woolen who's under the microscope. Seattle has been making some tough decisions lately, parting ways with players who don't fit the new regime's vision. Woolen, despite his rookie success, has been benched for multiple seasons now, and that raises questions about his future. The team might be considering all options, especially with the upcoming NFL trade deadline in the fall, which is always a prime time for blockbuster moves. And let's face it, the Seahawks have a history of being aggressive in the trade market when it makes strategic sense. Now, if we look at the broader picture, trading Woolen might be about more than just this season. It could be about setting the tone for the future, about building around other young players like Devin Witherspoon, who's shown flashes of brilliance. The Seahawks might also be eyeing other positions, like offensive line, which has been a concern, particularly with the situation involving Jackson Powers-Johnson, their second-round pick in 2024. He was projected as a versatile interior lineman, but his recent benching with the Raiders suggests that perhaps his fit isn't quite right. The Seahawks might be using the Woolen situation as leverage to address other needs, or maybe they're simply trying to gauge the market to see what kind of return they could get for a player who was once seen as a cornerstone. But here's the thing, nothing is set in stone. Woolen could very well still be part of Seattle's plans. The team might decide to ride out the season, see if he can recover his form, and then negotiate a new contract or extend his stay. After all, as long as he's on the roster, there's hope. And in the NFL, hope is everything. Sometimes a player just needs the right system, the right coaching, or even a bit of confidence to bounce back. Pete Carroll has always been a coach who believes in development, in finding ways to get the best out of his players, especially young talent. But if we look at the current landscape, the signs point to a possibility of change. The Seahawks might be gauging the market, listening to offers, and considering the best course of action for their long-term success. It's worth noting that Woolen's trade value might have dropped a bit, given his struggles this season, but he's still a talented corner with immense potential. The question is whether Seattle sees that potential as worth fighting for, or if they're ready to move on and free up some cap space and draft capital. And let's not forget, the NFL is a league of adjustments. Teams are constantly balancing present needs with future prospects. For Seattle, the decision to trade Woolen or keep him will depend on many factors: their current standings, the availability of other players, the overall health of the roster, and the strategic vision for the franchise. It's a delicate dance, and right now, it seems like the Seahawks are carefully weighing their options. So what does this all mean for fans? Well, it means that the next few weeks could be pivotal. We're approaching the trade deadline, and if Schneider is serious about making a move, he'll want to do it before the game against Tampa Bay next week. That's a crucial window. If nothing happens, then Woolen might just finish the season in Seattle, and we'll see how he responds in the coming weeks. But if a deal does materialize, it could be one of those moves that define this era of Seahawks football, possibly reshaping their secondary and their draft strategy. In the end, it's a story of potential and performance, of loyalty and business. Woolen's journey is far from over, and the Seahawks are at a crossroads. Will they choose to rebuild, to retool, or to hold on and hope for a turnaround? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, Seahawks fans should stay tuned, because this story is far from finished, and the coming weeks will reveal a lot about where this franchise is heading. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you believe Woolen should stay and fight through his struggles, or do you think it's time for the Seahawks to explore a trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seahawks news. Whether it's breaking rumors, game analysis, or future projections, we're here to keep you in the loop. Thanks for being part of this journey, and as always, go Seahawks.